spoilers ahead. You have been warned, my pretties.
What's up guys, it's Poir, and in my quest to find the strongest things, I conjured up this spear build that's super strong and can be made super early and, well, breaks the end game. So I'm calling this one DRAGOON! Now I do still think dual cats are the best weapons in the game, which if you haven't, check out my Susana build which uses dual swords and a broken spell which we'll also use for this one, but this one might be even better defensively. So give the video a like and let's begin. Before the build though, let's cover Ethereal form. As of right now, this thing is super cheap as it dodges every attack and spell in the game. It costs 1 Skyborn and you get Skyborn back if you dodge with it, so it basically refreshes itself for you to use infinitely. And since you want to spam it, make sure to put this on your first spell slot thing, and to use it effectively you just hit triangle to dodge an attack, then immediately hit triangle again during the whole smoky thing to dodge, triangle, dodge, repeat. And you're gonna avoid everything, and I mean everything. Grabs, big giant spell AoEs, attacks, doesn't matter. The only downside to this is that it cuts off your attacks when it triggers. Likewise, any spells you use, it also cancels it to dodge, so it's purely just for dodging. However, Spear has a skill, Spear Veil, that costs 1 Skyborn, which also dodges everything and gains you fleetness, and also gets you 2 Skyborn back, so a surplus. And it's effectively the same thing as Ethereal form, except you have to use it on reaction, like a dodge almost, whereas Ethereal form can be preemptively set up, but the passive skill Rock Plume gives you hyper armor during fleetness. So with the red tassel spear skill, Ebb and Flow, you gain entire hyper armor and clash. So in this example, in the Honglong 2 second form, yes, you fight her twice, but I'm going to use Spear Veil, hit R1, then use Ebb and Flow, clash and hyper armor everything, and then spam R1 for extra attacks, and repeat till obliteration. I wasn't intending on doing a spear build. In fact, I kind of dislike spears in general, but everything else except for dual swords pale to comparison, and this is actually better against non-humans too. But do note that you will need high madness to gain the hyper armor, but that's okay because we're going to add another combo on top, skill swap. So this is a 2-weapon build, a skill swap build. So for the second weapon, you want the steam powered spear. Not only do you gain tons of Skyborn Might easily with Spear Veil and dodge all attacks, but skill swapping above 90% madness increases the damage of the swapped in weapon skill, and you get health back every time you skill swap. So combine that with Leech and you have tons of life gain, as you see in the background, just destroying the old man in Endgame. And all I'm doing is just Spear Veiling when he attacks to gain Skyborn, and then skill swapping and using my skills. And I'm pretty sure the skill swap itself has hyper armor as well. Now keep in mind, killing certain enemies does reduce your madness though, so you will have to use Maddening Incense often. But don't worry, this is an infinite use item like Flask. It'll refresh every time you rest at a bonfire. But since you are weapon swapping constantly, if you want Leech on both weapons, you have to apply the arm Leech buff to each weapon for boss fights. But for normal gameplay, the heals you get from the skill swap passive itself is enough to sustain you well even versus the late game content. But you can find the red tassel spear found here very early in the game after the tutorial boss. And the steam powered spear is found here. For pendants, you have several options. You can go with an all damage reduction pendant so you can be more tanky, or just normal damage pendants. I went for a mix of Twin Lion, Nameless Eye, and Tiger. Well, you can swap out Nameless Eye for, let's say, Coil Dragon, Eagle Eye, or even Wishbone Pendant for even more HP recovery. But as you saw in the Old Man clip, which is one of the last bosses in the game, I just get so much health back that Wishbone is probably overkill. For spells, Ethereal form obviously kept on your triangle slot, super broken. Then Echo of Bo Magus, really dumb name, but it's the red girl spell boss that you fight later on in chapter 4. You know, the girl that's kind of psycho with the long hair. But this will absorb damage, so if you get hit, it'll tank it. And I guess if you wanted to, you can add Divine Ward for even more damage reduction. The point is, you have hyper armor, you want damage reduction so you don't take that much damage while trading. Skill tree. I'm not going to go over everything, but beeline to penetrating point, and then Spear Veil and its variant. And make sure to equip Spear Veil onto both of your spears, okay? Then you want to get Rock Plume, which is what gives you the hyper armor when Fleetness is active. And you'll know Fleetness is active by the loud ching during the dodge and the buff icon here. After that, get your weapon masteries for weapon upgrades, and go back to the left side of the tree and start getting your Skyborn Might and Flask buffs. Actually, you should probably get this first before heading down to Spear if you're just starting the game. But either way, go all the way to Skyborn Call 3, then get Conversion for the skill swap, get your Arm Needles for Leech, get the Maddening Incense buffs when you can, and again, you want to use this often to keep your madness above 90%. If you don't have 90%, you will get stunned during the skill swap and the fleetness buff, so this makes sure your madness doesn't go down. But you can also raise your madness manually by invoking items at the shrine, usually Feathered Pearls or one of the stamina buffs, up to you. From here, all you need to do is get more upgrades for your flask, weapon masteries, and then start pumping your stats up for damage and life. So agility, vitality, strength, and endurance in that order. You also want to go into the other weapon trees to get the big +5 stat notables. And yeah, just copy what you see here. This is a level 100 build. Beyond this, I would just simply get more stats. For the arm, I didn't really care, but this is my setup. Copy it if you want. I guess the most important needle is the arm duration and maybe agility tuning. And lastly, benedictions. 2 weapons means 2 setups. Here's my red tassel. Skyborn Rejuvenation is really strong as it gives you bonus leech when you gain Skyborn Might briefly. So you use Spear Veil to gain Skyborn Might, gain auto leech, use your ebb and flow skill, gain life back even without the arm, then you skill swap to the other spear and gain even more life from the skill swap effect. Really hard to die with this build, if you play it right. And lastly, Combo Force for consecutive damage, which goes nicely with ebb and flow. Spear 2. 1. Try Disciplinary Force. Make sure to get an extra skill from the tree to have 3 skills in your discipline menu, which is a 15% damage increase. Second, Lethal Might for general play. It's just too good to keep your Skyborn up, and you're going to use Steam Spear for the main clear due to the AoE and reach. And lastly, Skyborn Discipline to increase damage when you gain Skyborn Might, which is a temporary buff, but it'll also remain active even if you swap, so it'll be a little bit better than the second Try Disciplinary Force. But otherwise, yeah, use what you want. And yeah, that's basically my build. DRAGOON! If you like the build, hit the like button, please. Otherwise, comment down below if you found anything powerful. If there's something truly powerful, then maybe I'll make a build about that. You can also check out Susano, which is my dual blade builds, and subscribe for more, potentially, Wuchang epicness.